In this video, we're talking about soil life. What is soil life? What does soil life do? Why does soil life matter when growing your own food? I'm going to let you in on a little secret. God made dirt, and dirt don't hurt. What is soil life? Soil life is bacteria, fungus or mycorrhiza, protozoa, and nematodes or earthworms. It's an unseen kingdom, but it's a kingdom creating optimal conditions for you to grow your own food. Bacteria is a major player. Bacteria is like a scavenger or a predator looking for decaying yard waste, kitchen or garden waste, or even animal waste. Once bacteria dies, its nutrients become available to the root system of the plants, so then the plant can absorb the nutrients. Fungi or fungus provides nutrients and water to a plant's root system and protects it from disease. Protozoa is a predator. It eats the bacteria that helps plants' root systems access bacterial nutrients. Nematodes are worm predators. They also eat bacteria and other nematodes or worms that are harmful. What does soil life do? Bacteria, fungi, protozoa, and earthworms are the citizens that make up the soil kingdom. They work together to carry the nutrients to the plants and the trees that they need. In order to have healthy plants, you need to have healthy soil. And healthy soil means all kinds of bacteria life in the soil. So all those kingdom citizens, those soil kingdom citizens need to be present in the soil in order to have healthy, strong plants. In order to have healthy plants, you need to have healthy soil. And by healthy soil, I mean soil life. Soil life that has been left alone to do its thing. Soil life matters because the plant's root system or the tree's root system is not able to reach all of the nutrients and all of the minerals that the plants and trees need to be able to grow healthy and strong. Most root systems in plants, especially plants that we're growing for food, their root system is usually less than 12 inches deep. And that amount, 12 inches, doesn't really give the plant the access to all the nutrients and minerals that are beneficial to that plant. So the citizens of the soil kingdom, they are able to access, because they're traveling back and forth, they're able to access these nutrients and these minerals, and then are able to then take it to the plant's root systems, and then they're able to access, the plants are able to access the nutrients and the minerals that it needs to grow healthy and strong. Without soil life, the ground becomes unable to retain water, to retain moisture, and without any soil life, the ability is not there for plants to grow. That's exactly what's happening when you're looking at a desert situation, or you're looking at a situation where there's not, there are no plants growing. That's because there is no soil life that can support a plant to grow in that soil. It's really important that you think of, and you try and remember to think of what's going on in the soil as a kingdom. And in this kingdom, you have different players. And without these players, the kingdom would fall. and there would be no kingdom. Imagine an ant farm. What happens in an ant farm? You see, in an ant farm, you can see the ants digging tunnels, and they use these tunnels to carry food and I think that's it, back and forth through these tunnels. That is really one way, a good way to look at the soil life happening in the soil kingdom. That's essentially what they're doing. They're getting nutrients, they're getting minerals, and they're taking these minerals back and forth from the ground to the plant's root system. Also, again, okay, think about these ant farms. I don't know if you've ever had one. I've never had one personally, but I've seen them, and I've seen, you have these ant farms. It's like two pieces of, you can see through plastic or glass, something like that. And you can see the ants digging tunnels or making tunnels in this ant farm. And you can literally just take that ant farm and shake it up and destroy the tunnel system. And when you do that, what happens? Those ants are going to have to start all over again and build a whole new system. That is similar to what we do. In the ground, in this soil kingdom, you have these bacteria, you have this fungus, the protozoa, and the earthworms, and they're all traveling through the soil and moving back and forth doing their work. The fungus is actually like this white stringy fibers, almost like thin hairs. And then you have the earthworms, and then you have the bacteria, and you have the protozoa. And they're all going back and forth, they're doing their thing, and then we come along. And when we come along, we have been trained and we have been taught that the right thing to do is soften up the ground and loosen up the dirt, and the dirt needs to be airy, and that's partially true, but really what's more important is to keep that soil kingdom alive, because that soil kingdom, the citizens of that kingdom, they are the ones that are turning the dirt, so to speak. When we come along with a rototiller and we start tilling up that dirt, we're literally destroying and killing that soil kingdom and the work that it has done to build up these pathways and these tunnels, so to speak, to move back and forth freely. We're literally ripping it up and tearing it to pieces and destroying the work that has already been done. And now the work that needs to be done is to try and bring that soil kingdom back. And the more we mess with the ground, the harder it is for our plants to really fully develop and get stronger, because they're going to be lacking a lot of the nutrients and the minerals that kingdom was bringing to it. It kind of now is having to fend for itself. So the plants and the fruit in turn is not as nutrient dense as it could be if we had just left the soil alone. One of the most important things is feeding the kingdom. What do I mean by feeding the kingdom? These citizens of the kingdom, they feed off of our decomposing waste. So what we give it, it could be leaves, it could be yard waste of any kind, it could be our kitchen scraps, it could be an animal manure. All of these things break down, and they break down because it's these bacteria, it's the soil kingdom's citizens that actually break these things down. It breaks down wood, tree stumps, rotting trees, rotting plants, rotting fruits and vegetables that we add. All of this stuff is actually what we call compost. And this compost is what feeds that soil kingdom and keeps those citizens of the soil kingdom coming to break all these things down and make available the nutrients that the plants need for these citizens of the kingdom to actually work, do their job, and continue to gather these minerals and the nutrients to bring to the plant's root systems, making it available for the plant's root systems to take it up into the plant and then sending it to the vegetable or the fruit that we're going to eat. So when you hear people talking about soil life and feeding the soil life, this is what they're talking about. They're talking about literally feeding the bacteria and the fungus and the protozoas and the earthworms. They're literally talking about feeding them, just like you would feed a pet. That's kind of weird, but that's exactly what they're talking about. They're talking about keeping that soil life happy and coming back. I know a lot of people get grossed out about worms and slugs and all these kinds of critters that are found in the soil, but they all have a purpose. They all have a job to do, and it's all for the purpose of either keeping the garden clean or helping to bring nutrients to the plants. It all has a purpose. They all have a job to do, and when things get out of balance, that's when you really encounter problems. So one of the things that you really want to avoid is disturbing that kingdom. Try not to till. Try not to dig and like with a fork. And I know it's really popular, to talk about aeration and putting holes in the ground, but it's really important to try and keep that soil kingdom intact and building itself up, multiplying and becoming more populated. That's really what you want to see. You want that to be more populated. You want to see more worms. You want to see more fungus. It's a good sign. So don't turn the dirt. But do feed the kingdom. Plant the seed, feed the kingdom.